Welcome to Rhinos and Aliens.
Welcome, everybody, to the 67th episode of the Rhinos and Aliens show. I'm your host, Michael, and we're going to start introducing everybody from right to left. And we're going to start off with, to my right,
Francis Mandrala, long hair, don't care.
it's to our left for the first time, and hopefully not the last. We have...
You got Chance here. Good to be here on the show tonight.
Thank you. By the way, if you guys don't know Chance, we went to high school with him. We were on track and field, cross country, and some years, did you guys do soccer together?
Yeah, I did.
I don't think I did soccer. I didn't really do a fall sport. I only did cross country that 1 year.
Okay, and that was the very last year you ever even considered that?
Yeah. Well, I also did have like a lot going on that year.
Yeah.
But that was not one of my most fondest high school moments of like running in my life. I would have probably rather been embarrassed running the 2 mile at all high than doing cross country.
Before we get into the story, thank you guys for joining us for yet another Rhinos and Aliens show. Thank you for joining the #1 Western New York podcast. And yeah, we're just going to have a good time. We're going to do what we've been doing lately. And now we're going to get back into some good cross-country stories about Chance.
All right.
Yeah, so just to like kind of, I guess, give everybody the full scope of this cross-country story. So...
Is this the one where you came in 99th place and you and Demarius?
Yeah. This is about me and Demarius. So I will tell this full story from start to finish.
This is a classic, by the way.
So essentially, not having any proper running shoes for cross country is really gonna...
Wait, he didn't even give you the cheap ones?
Nah.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Dude, I think I asked Kirsch maybe 1 year about track spikes, and he never got back to me on it. And I was just like, all right, but Hutch Tech is like...
They got everything.
They're getting everything, and like...
They got goodies, snacks, drinks.
Like, we couldn't even really get good drinking water half the time, man.
I was about to be... Honestly, I mean, they are downtown. We were deep in the hood. Bro, on Delavan.
We got apples if we were lucky.
Yeah, I'm saying we were pretty much screwed from Jump Street.
Yeah, as we pointed out in a previous episode where we got our gym a year after we graduated. Yeah, you remember that, Chance? It took 2 years to make those shitty renovations?
Oh, yeah. Whoever came up with the idea of putting a drop ceiling tile in a gym.
In a workout room, right?
And a gym
It was also
general.
in the gym, too.
Like, dude, trust me, I almost literally got knocked out by a ceiling tile. It literally landed probably about 2 feet away from me. And I watched it as it happened, so I was like... Because, like, so I think his name was Jalen or whatever, but... Kid just, like, freaking hammers the volleyball right up into the ceiling. And the ceiling tile, dude, just, like, hit it at, like, the perfect angle. And it was just like, well, free fall. And it was just like, oh, well, this is a great time. Like, you know that if you play kickball inside of your high school gym, you now have about a 50-50 chance that if somebody nails it up in the ceiling, that ball's either gone or your life is going to be gone.
And the roof is the ceiling is going to be ruined either way.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I mean, that's 100% guaranteed.
What do you remember the first year we got back? You remember the bottom, like how all the walls had those like plastic linings? Like the plastic, like how at the bottom of the wall, like as you went around the entire school, there's the plastic linings. It added a design to it. Do you guys remember?
I don't think I remember
the framing, the plastic framing at the bottom of the hallways and stuff.
I don't think I ever paid attention. I think I thought that they only just turned it green just to like kind of match the school color or whatever.
Well, the point is they had the plastic, whatever it was. And 3 months in, before Christmas, some areas of the school, the plastic was peeling off already.
Okay, now I think I do know what you are talking about. Because I remember, like, walking
I think
past,
it's called framing, like wall framing.
Yeah, and then, like, you just, like, walk down the hallway, and then you look at the corner, and then all you see is just, like...
It peeling off, yeah.
It's either peeling off or paint's, like, missing, and it's just, like, super discolored, and you're like...
This is what took 2 years?
We should just kept the old place, man. Honestly, I didn't really understand the whole point of renovating the school. But.
It was a cosmetic for the front. The way that I see it, they gave money to an inner city school to do renovations, and what do? They find a way to bullshit it and possibly milk the funds that they had gotten.
Oh, definitely.
No, that's what it was.
So many corners as possible.
Yeah.
Because there was even, like, I think even, after you guys graduated,
It went down.
my senior year...
They
found lead. They found lead paint, and they actually had to repaint all the hallways.
How does that even happen?
So what you're saying is
They really didn't renovate the school.
we left there to go to a place that looks like
A piece
what you're describing. To be there for a while and then go back to a complete sham.
Oh, dude, it's always about money at the end of the day.
You're right.
Okay, this was a major segue. Again, back to cross country now.
Welcome to the BPS. So, but, oh, man. So, race starts... I think, me and Demaria started before you guys because, like, we were in the first heat or whatever.
I just want to point this out, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you personally for showing up, Chance, because you had every reason not to show up, and you still showed up. So respect.
Not a problem, dude.
And I'm saying that because a female found every reason not to come to her interview. And she's not watching this. She probably never will, but... We got to put that on record.
So in other words, salute, Chance.
Salute.
I take it.
Okay, but yes, you and Demarius did start before us.
Okay, so me and Demarius start out before all the good people go. And
you treated it like a 100-meter yard dash.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Like, I mean, it like so just starting out, we were doing pretty good.
You guys were doing excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Some people would say you started off too good.
Yeah, pacing for cross country was definitely not my specialty.
Can I say this, though? At least you were in some shape, right? Yeah. Demarius was still getting into shape, and he still tried to go toe-to-toe with you. So...
Yeah, trust me, it gets better. So about maybe, I don't know, halfway into like the first lap, we're probably like maybe not even like a quarter mile in. And then Demarius starts complaining that he's having like terrible cramps.
A quarter mile?
About a quarter mile in. I mean, I was still doing pretty fine.
So basically, by the time you guys got near the lake, the pond.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Around over there. What the fuck?
You good, bro? Did it come out your nose?
I'm not even sure, man. Can I have a story, please?
Can you have a what?
No, I said, I'm really not sure. I was trying. Just go ahead with the story, please.
Are you legit crying?
A little bit, yeah. Go ahead, though.
So about a quarter mile in, Demarius starts complaining that, he's like having stomach cramps. And I'm like, bro, what do you mean? We just started the race, bro. Like, the A teams haven't even gone yet. Like, what do you mean, bro? Like, you're in pain. So Demarius keeps trying to, like, tough it out. We get back over, I think, like, around near Delaware Park. Well, like, to the back end of Delaware Park where you're, like, actually on Delaware and you can see, like, the cemetery and stuff like that.
Coming up the hill.
Yeah.
Near the, yeah.
And so then coming up that, Demarius is still complaining that he's having stomach cramps. So I'm like, bro, I feel so bad for you right now, and I'm just gonna, like, stick it out with you. Because this man was like, Chance, I don't know where I'm going. Because I if I'm not mistaken, I believe this was actually his very first cross-country meet.
No, I believe it was.
So, yeah, so he didn't know the course at all.
Even though we did a practice run.
Yeah.
For warm-ups.
Yeah. So out of, like, I guess the goodness of my heart, I'm like, all right, dude, I'll stay. I'll stay back with you, like, until like you could try to, get your momentum back up. So he would, like, kind of go in and out of spurts where it would be like, okay, I got a nice light jog going.
Did you guys ever walk?
Oh, definitely. Probably walked a good portion of 75% of the second lap, no lie.
Now, question, would you have walked that much if it wasn't for Demarius?
Not at all. Probably not. Looking back at it, probably not.
Okay, cool. Because the entire time, I seriously thought that Demarius was actually keeping up with you. That's why the whole situation was as funny as it was. But it turns out you were actually being a good teammate.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
New perspective.
Yeah, so, I mean, I was just, like, trying to be a good teammate, for Demarius and not, like, trying to leave him behind. And so, like, come around to, like, you get to Suicide Hill, run up that.
The first or second time?
First time.
Okay.
And so, I mean, like, but that's, like, basically, like, when shit really started hitting the fan. More so for Demarius, not really for me.
Yeah.
Because Demarius was like, dude, we're, like, 15 minutes in, and we just finished the first lap.
Yeah.
It was like 15, 18. It was somewhere around in that ballpark. All I know is it was definitely not under 10.
It wasn't.
Nowhere even close to 10. So get up Suicide Hill. Demarius is, like, kind of a little bit shitting himself. I'm actually kind of shitting myself too at this point because I'm like, yo, I know I'm not a distance runner.
But you know you're better than this.
But I know I'm a lot better than this. Like, I can at least, like, keep a nice steady jog going.
Well, that's what I thought back then.
Yeah.
That's why I was very confused about how the entire situation went down. Because, like, one person arrived at the end of the pack because he ran 3 laps. And he didn't know where he was literally going. So he actually ran 0.75 extra laps than he had to.
Wow.
No,
Yeah.
that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I will never forget that.
His name was Bosch.
He damn near looked like Bosch.
Brock.
Oh my god. But yeah, so and then like so just to also kind of give you guys like my mental mind space during this time, I was absolutely embarrassed. Because I mean you guys knew I had a lot of friends that went to Hutch Tech and that did cross country.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're getting around due to lapping me on the second lap because they're like, dude, they're already like ahead of us. And I'm telling Demarius, I'm like, yo, bro, at least like, yo, let's try to like see if we could keep up with like, let's try to like get somewhere on Stefano's pace. Oh, shit. So, which was a very bad idea because Stefano is like, used to be a running god. Now his knees have like gone out on him. So I'm telling Demarius, I'm like, dude, we gotta like pick it up here, man, because we just got lapped, bro. And then this man is still complaining. He's like, dude, I can't run anymore. I just got to walk it out. Because, like, there was, like, actually, like, moments, like, where I would, like, literally get a good distance ahead of him because I was like, dude, okay, wait a minute. We've been out here for way too long. And then the iconic moment.
Where you guys sprint?
Oh, yeah, dude, Joe, right. What is it? So
Were they turned off the clock?
Oh, yeah. So leading up to that moment, we're like, because, like, okay, so leading up to that moment, we hit up Suicide Hill, and we're like, see people, like, starting to leave and stuff, because people are like, dude, like, the race is over, bro. Everybody's done. And then, next thing you know, we're like, yo, bro, at least make it look like we gave it a good try at the end and have a good finish.
No, that's respectable.
So I was like,
always finish strong.
Yeah. I mean, also working strong in the middle too helps.
Or the beginning.
but that's just kind of almost at that point just all implied.
Yeah.
But so, like, oh man. So
describe in detail how you remember the final 100 yards.
So getting up to the top of Suicide Hill and just sort of running.
Gotcha.
Like a bat out of hell to cross the finish line. Because by that time, I also, like, saw you guys were like, oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
We're just, like, starting to grab all your shit. And I was like, well, hey, man, I just got to go out there and just completely just no matter what, just 100-meter style it and
gotcha.
Just do it as if it was a sprint. So do that and get to the end of that. Apparently, Demarius, like, had to be, like, helped back to, like, his grandmother's car or whatever. And I was just like, I mean, I was more or less.
How did you feel after that finish?
I was disappointed in myself, for sure. And then,
but did you feel good that you helped a teammate out?
Looking back at it, now today? No, I don't. Personally, I don't. Because I know personally I'm a lot better than that. And I at least know that I will always try to give as much as what I can give, even if it's not my event. Or,
that's respectable.
You know, and, like, not my thing. So, like, I mean, I'll always, like, try to give it my best go. Because, like, but yeah, I think that was, like, the second cross-country meet that I, like, ran in. Because the first one I ran... You
finished a lot better.
Yeah, well, yeah, the first one I ran in, I actually did a whole lot better. And, I mean, I wasn't, like, outstandingly amazing.
No, but it was around the 20-minute mark. Yeah. 22, something like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, like, at least coming in, like, doing 2 miles within about 20 minutes.
2.5.
Well, 2.5 miles in about
a big difference.
20 minutes. So, I mean, looking at that for me, somebody who's usually mostly a sprinter.
Yeah, short distance.
Yeah. I was like, okay, I can live with that, you know, and just sort of, I guess, try to work on that from there. But, you're going to say something.
I was just going to say, what, looking back, stings more? You finishing 99th out of 100th, or the fact that they turned the clock off?
The fact that they were taking down the clock, I think, was more embarrassing about anything. It wasn't even coming and, like, basically getting a DNF.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even, that wasn't, like, really the worst part. But it was just the fact that, you know, they were like, all right, guys, let's wrap it up.
We're leaving.
Packing up shop. Time to, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
You know, and stuff like that. And it was just like, that was by far one of probably the worst experiences of my life.
Should we point out, though, that the best part of that story, Chance either forgot or he doesn't remember. You and Demarius were actually arguing about who came in last.
That was the
how
funniest.
How could I forget about that moment? You see, honestly, all I remember was Demarius was like sprawled out on the ground, and then like Kirsch sort of had to like give him medical attention. Like, honestly, yeah,
My favorite.
yeah.
My favorite part. I'm sorry, I gotta speak on it.
Say it, Mike.
Me and Malik were right by there, and y'all were arguing. And Demarius asked, he said, "Kirsch, what place did I come in?" He said, "Oh, you both came in 9900."
Yeah, I don't know, but so also I guess to kind of piggyback off of that for a moment. So like I don't know if you guys remember, but like so me and Kirsch, like I don't know, like he was really pissed off more or less at me because
He knew because previous.
yeah, like he knew what I was capable of, and then to do some stupid reckless shit like that. And the more kind of I guess so embarrass him than really embarrass my own self.
Well, I believe also too that match we were going up against inferior teams.
Yeah.
And we actually needed you to place at least decently because we were such a small school that we need at least 5 people to place, and we actually only had, not including you, 4. So that's why.
Yeah, so I mean, he was like super, pissed off about it, and I don't know. I mean, I was really pissed off about it, but like I said, I mean, during this time, I wasn't even like in the greatest mindset at all, because like, this is like October, like maybe late September, October sometime. Cross country season started, and like my dad passed away like that August, and it was like, and I didn't tell. Like, not a living soul in MST.
Well, didn't it eventually come out, though?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like, so to kind of really paint a very vivid picture for who Scott Kirsch is as a person.
Okay.
Like, honestly, so me, my mom, Kirsch, and Miss Schneider, we all, like, had a meeting inside of, her office and stuff like that because... right? Because, I mean, I was upset, that, like, he kind of, like, freaked out on me and everything else like that. And I didn't even really know how to even, like, tell anybody that, like, I lost my dad during that time.
Yeah.
And so, like, we're in Miss Schneider's office, and, like, going over the trials and tribulations of what happened, stuff like that, explaining the full story, getting both sides.
Yeah.
And and then it just like sort of, I don't know, man. It like literally just sucker punched me, and it all hit me at one time, and I was just like, you want to know, man, I miss my dad right now. And they're like, because like at that time they didn't even know either that I had lost my dad until I literally broke down in like her office. And I mean, honestly, dude, Kirsch gave me. It's almost like kind of gonna make me cry because.
Yo, let it out.
But dude, he gave me like one of the most tightest hugs of sympathy that I've only felt like maybe a hug like that twice in my life.
First time it was genuine.
Oh, it was super genuine. Like, no, actually, I lied. 3 times in my life because my grandmother. Like, after it all happened, she gave me a hug, like, that was, like, like, like a hug where it almost made everything sort of feel like it was going to be okay. And then, like...
That's what good hugs are supposed to do.
Oh, yeah. And then, like, Kirsch came around, and then, like, once he really found out about that, he just knocked all that shit out of the ballpark, and he was like, honestly, I get it, but he was like, why didn't you tell anybody? Like, him and Miss Schneider were both like, why didn't you tell anybody about it? And I was like, for me, of who I was, I guess, like, at MST, it was like, okay, there was a school me that everybody knew.
Yeah.
And then it was like a personal life that I sort of like really kept very divided outside of like my school life. And and kind of like doing that, I just didn't really know how to actually like talk to anybody like at school about really what happened.
Did you ever feel like you fit in? Because I know for a long time we always made fun of you as being Hutch Techs. Did you ever like truly feel like you fit in, or did you like did you fit in eventually? How did you?
You know, honestly, it's kind of funny because I don't know. I mean, I kind of look at it as I felt like a lot of people just knew who I was, and it was either you're either on board of who I am or either you're not. So, and I guess for me, it always seemed like, for the most part, everybody was like always, you know, at least somewhat on par,
Gotcha.
you know, to accepting me for who I was, you know, and stuff like that. So, like, I mean, yeah, I guess I really did feel more like the sore thumb,
Okay.
you know, like being at MST, but I don't know, it was like something though Miss Schneider said to me the night of like senior prom, and like we were just like standing back and stuff like that, and she was like watching everybody dancing, and I was like, yo, I had to cool down for a moment, yo, because I was like, you know, getting all going, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so yeah, you know, and she like, you know, and like, you know, she looked over and she asked me, she's like, aren't you glad you didn't go to Hutch Tech? And I was like, being honest, yeah, I am, because
I remember. I'm glad you said that, because I remember at some point our senior year when you were a junior, I believe somehow in my head, I don't know, I knew what you were going to say. At some point you had a deep conversation with us, or one of your friends let us know that you actually you're glad that you made your own stamp at MST rather than going to Hutch Tech. And that always stuck with me.
yeah, oh, definitely. And like, in that pivotal moment when she asked me that, it was like, because I don't know, like I literally had to take a moment to actually think about it, and I was like, I probably couldn't be able to do and at least have the best support system as like, excuse me, as like a faculty staff would even go, and like the type of school that we went to. So like that all for me, it made, like, honestly, it almost made 6-6 East Elephant almost like a second home for me in a way.
I'm glad you say this. At least our classes, because once your class graduated, the faculty started to ship out. At least our classes, I stand by this. We had one of the, if not the best staff of all the Buffalo public schools.
We really did. Like,
Because we got that staff because of the Bill Gates funding. Because we were supposed to have the most prestigious school, and then quickly, because of many factors, that went away. But we still had the staff. And, yo, I look back at it, and you remember how a lot of the teachers say, oh, college is where you're going to meet your friends. College is where you're going to have the best experience. Personally, high school is still where I had.
you know, it's really funny that you actually say that, because, I mean, I went to college down in Utica, and I did that for like a year and a half down there.
Okay.
You know, and I mean, like, I lived on campus. I made like a couple like really, really close friends. And, like, we still talk today and stuff like that. And,
I'm glad to hear that.
you know, and like we always like get plans. They either come up to Buffalo or either I go down to the city. We meet up in Utica, shit like that. So
Good to hear.
but like it really dawned on me though that high school at MST was probably one of like my most enriching times. I guess as far as like going and getting an education. Because like
If you said it best, it felt like home in more ways than one.
you know, and like and I really honestly think that it goes more or less to who the staff was, especially in that school, because like not even just like teacher wise, but like we had some of the most nicest maintenance workers like in the
security.
world. Yo, Mr. Walker. Oh,
Mr. Walker, Mr. McCool.
Samuel right there.
Yeah, man. Like, oh man. And then, you know, honestly, like I kind of felt like a lot of people always gave like Miss Schneider a lot of shit, but like she really did very much so care about that school, and she did very much care about every one of the students that was in her school. You know, when we were
Unbiasedly, yes.
there, very like really unbiasedly, like
Yeah.
you know, and
Almost too unbiasedly in certain situations, but yeah.
well, yeah, I mean, yeah, she did have her favorites. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like,
No, like personally, I had a bad experience with her. So, but
Oh,
like
okay.
taking my personal experience out, like
okay.
I always say this: I preferred her over the previous. Were you here for
Rutland.
Rutland?
Oh yeah, I was there for Rutland.
Yeah, she sucked ass.
Yeah, I don't know, Rutland.
She had a
like,
big ass. I remember that.
She did, and bro, she would always wear those tight black dresses too. It's like, are you trying to get Mr. Walker in trouble? Come on, man. But continue, Chance. Pardon.
Oh, man.
Pardon us.
But yeah, so, but no, though, man. Like, I don't know, but like she was a damn good principal. Like, she was. I feel in a lot more ways more compromising and like in more than one way.
Yo, think about how many times students should have been suspended and she didn't suspend them. Or gave them a drastically reduced situation compared to your average principal.
She
Yeah,
definitely
like,
saved
seriously.
me.
Yeah.
And then I mean, also like she really though she made the uniform so much easier on people because it was like
Yes, we didn't have to wear the ties.
And the blazer,
Yes.
sweater,
nope, the cardigans,
vest.
It was like basic. I don't know, like, but like after you guys graduated, I mean, it really, excuse me, it really became a lot more sort of relaxed in the terms of, like, it was sort of then shifting where people were like wearing khaki pants and then also still wearing black pants, like sort of like starting to switch the trend over to like black pants and stuff.
Gotcha.
Like, I don't know, she wasn't really on board with it at first, but then like as like the school year went on, she was just basically like, I mean, khaki and black, what green and what like a green polo, as long as you're like, you know, you're not in jeans. She was like kind of really, I guess, really impartial to it. You know, honestly, like one thought that like legit crossed my mind the other day, and I know I should like be well over it, but so like I don't know if you guys knew, but I ran for class president, you know, for my class senior year, and well at the end of junior year, transitioning in senior year. But
Who beat you out?
Zia Mara, she came over to MST. What, like, yeah, after. No, yeah, you guys' senior year. Because she switched
she was
over junior year,
11.
my junior year,
Yeah.
from Burgard.
I was really mad. I was all for Chance.
Why would you not go with the kid?
That's been there from day one.
Well, not even that, but you know who sort of has it in with the principal.
That's good.
In all honesty, though, like, probably before Jade and Wen. No, was her name Wen?
The Asian?
Yeah, I can't remember. I'm so sorry, but I can't remember her name at the moment. But
I didn't even know her name, so
well,
you're good in our books. But I know who you're talking about.
yeah. But like, before they actually like really got there, like honestly, it was actually kind of fun because Brianna was sort of like my major competition. You know, like in my class.
Are we talking about grade wise?
Oh, grade wise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like
Yeah, you were low key smart.
Like, well, in my class, like, yeah, in my class, she was like one person though who like actually make me aim
Higher.
always make me aim higher.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, I think
Competition is always good.
I think I maybe told her like senior year that like, what is it that like, I don't know. Actually, I did thank her. I was like, you know, honestly, like you were probably the only reason that I didn't slack off in high school.
See, I respect that because all my individuals, they never gave me that respect. So I respect that.
Like, I mean, because I always felt like, especially like the high school that we went to, that I was just sort of like this giant ass fish and probably like a fish tank and like a really super small fish tank.
No, that's what it is. And it's just not that. You're able to see your entire competition.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And that's another good thing about going to MST compared to Hutch Tech. You're an average fish at best in a very large pond,
Yeah.
you know? And just not sports, but education-wise, and just not education socially, you know?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
In every aspect. That's why, I don't know. But that was a great thing to do, just not as a man, but as an individual, to pay respect with the competition. And I feel like if people were more willing to do that, because I feel like 90% of the time people either get mad in a situation like that,
Yeah,
like they say, oh, like fuck off or whatever, blah blah blah, or they make you feel like, oh, I was never aiming for the top spot. Yeah. So they either way they never give you the congratulations and the compliments that if you're being unbiased and respectful you should give.
Yeah.
That's also given that person feels secure with themselves speaking up on something like that. Because chance.
True, but I was more so speaking in terms of the people who do speak out. Like let's say there's 10 people who speak out about the competition. Mm. I feel like Chance is the one person of the 10 that would be unbiased and say respect or thank you.
That's because he's unbiased.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, like what? I made top 5 of my senior class, and like what? Yeah, Brianna, yeah, because she actually beat me out.
Wasn't she the valedictorian?
No, she wasn't, but she came
Oh.
third in our class because Jade and then the other girl, since they transferred in, they had higher GPAs.
Oh, they counted. Oh,
So yeah, and
That's
they counted
kinda-
they counted like their GPAs. But I don't know, like me and Brana, we actually sort of had like a little bit of like a light humor joke about it, and we were like, we really know who the original valedictorian and then salutatorian were.
Yeah, because that's robbery.
Yeah. So I mean, like we didn't really care. We were like, dude, who really cares? Like we're in the top 5.
Make
And-
sure better at the end of the day.
Yeah. Also going back, I guess, to some of the staff. Dallas Belgie.
Okay, I just want to quickly say this. Hate him or love him, you have to respect him.
Awesome guy. Awesome guy.
I feel like so many people gave him a lot of shit because they only interacted with him like in really small instances where they only kind of got to see his asshole personality.
I'll say this right now. Belgie is a main reason, or is a good reason, part of the equation why I became such a film enthusiast. The way our senior year, we watched a lot of films for our English class.
Yeah.
And he also took us to see The Great Gatsby. And that 2013 was my year of blossoming into a film enthusiast.
Yeah, no, dude, I remember that.
Yeah.
That was that was actually a really dope fast field trip. Yeah, that was actually that was your senior year, my junior year, and
Yeah.
the English department at that time had dubbed me with the nickname of Sparky.
Why?
Oh, because the only book I ever probably read junior year,
Oh,
like on my own,
Was it Spark?
well, Spark Notes.
Spark Notes?
Yeah, so like that, cause like I would do all of like my reading packets, but I would just sort of
And they knew?
Google the answer. Well, they figured it out after a while because I wouldn't even I would just not even put the page number down, and I'd be like, but you guys, and me and Miss Soika, we actually did have a conversation about it, and she's like, well, if you don't put the page number down, I'll just deduct you half a point. And I was like, well, hey, half a point is not really gonna make a major difference when you're still getting a 17 out of 20 on the packet. for like multiple answers.
Yeah.
But yeah, though but going back into Dallas Belgi though, like really fantastic guy, and just overall probably one of the best, greatest human beings that I've ever encountered in my life. Like, because it was like a class day, and like I think you guys know, like that he has super bad OCD.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you move, like the tape on his table,
He's going no.
the man's gonna like freak the hell out.
Yeah.
I remember Farrell
And
actually.
he had a slight lifts,
Yeah.
but he did improve on that because I remember when I first heard him talk, and by my senior year, it was a major difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
but-
with the students that went to MST, you're definitely gonna pick up. Okay, I need to step up my game.
yeah, dude, especially with him,
Yeah.
because like he's a very no shit type of professor. I mean, well, not professor, but type of teacher. But like the thing is, so like he gives you so many opportunities to actually pass his class.
And it's just going back to relationships. I honestly feel in terms of being a better person, it was always a two-way street.
Yeah.
And I sincerely feel that he, whenever he could, he always took advice as well.
Oh, definitely. I guess the only one thing that I did want out of my dad was just to see him
There.
at my graduation, at my high school graduation, and for him to give me a nice, firm handshake and say, "I'm proud of you, son. You did it." And then whatever else happened sort of after that moment would have just happened. But like, and me and Belgi, we were actually talking about that like in his classroom and stuff like that. And no, another sincere person. I mean, dude gave me like a hug and everything, and I was just like, for me, it spoke more volumes of who he was as a person, because it kind of showed that like he did sort of have, some type of self-control over his OCD, and for him to kind of like do that with one of his students and stuff like that, like that really truly impacted me for almost like damn near my whole entire life.
After that.
After that.
That speaks volumes on what people believe you to be, bro.
What's that?
They believe you to be a real good person, a genuine person that deserves to be respected and comforted,
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah. The fact that they have trust in you.
Right. Because I've seen them. I've seen a couple people like make mistakes, just based off of what they seen last minute with somebody and how they handle that, and then getting told like the reality of it, and then how they went from there. But that is a more touching subject, also though. But at the same time, like it is given based upon the person that they're really focused on.
Yeah.
And let's make this clear. MST, just like every other school, just like every other work environment, just like life itself, it had its bitches, it had its dicks.
Definitely.
But the majority of the people, of the faculty, I feel like if you put it down to one word off the top of my head, it's caring. They actually cared, from the Mr. Walkers, the Snyders, the Soikas, the Belgies.
Mr. Beeman, he was probably one of my favorite teachers ever, bro.
Bro, and I personally remember this because we were in Mr. Mocha's class. Mr. Beeman did not have to take us out of that class, but because we were considered the top tier class of our class, the top tier group of our class, he took an extra shift. I believe it was during his lunchtime. It was either during, somehow one of his free periods he took out of his day so he could teach us. And to this day, Mr. Beeman is the best math teacher and my favorite math teacher of all time. And he's my top 5 favorite teachers, professors, whatever, in any schooling.
Damn.
He is the only reason why I passed that class because we had regents. The regent test, he is the only reason why I passed that. And I ended up getting like the second, third highest grade for our school in the regents behind Susan and I believe Damon.
Dang, that's what's up.
Yeah. And to this day, I always give, and the point I was trying to say, I remember you and Jay Vaughn, every single class gave him shit, but he never gave up.
It was me, Jay, and Malik.
Yes.
It was a lot of times where I tried to be like, I'm not gonna hold you. Math was never my strong suit, so I would try to get a grasp of it, but more so my attention span went elsewhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'd be clowning around, and he'd be like, "Okay, Michael, you and Malik could go outside, have a little picnic if you want to keep da da da." It would, yeah, it happened a lot.
But yo, bro, every single day, every single week, if you guys asked for help, he was there.
He definitely was there.
And that shows true character because, as everything I said before, like he was taking time out of his breaks. Like with the way they get paid, and I have one break, why the fuck would I take that up for kids? But that just shows who he was as a person and the embodiment of this faculty. We can't forget Miss Tombolesi.
Oh, Miss Tombo.
She might...
Gotcha.
Like, does anybody remember Mr. Dodge?
Yeah, I remember Mr. Dodge.
And I keep going down to this. All these professors respect. Like Mr. Dodge.
Yeah.
Miss Young. I personally...
I didn't personally have her as a teacher because she ended up getting switched to middle early.
Yeah, but bro, any person, she easily had the highest regents grades of any class, and there's a fucking reason. Now, of course, the class she was teaching is one of the easier ones, but yo, you passed with flying colors. Basically, everybody got over 80s, and most people got in the 90s, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
Technically speaking, especially for how people consider Buffalo public schools.
Oh, definitely.
And it just, if you go down the, like, I would love to do a class reunion and like set it up to where we brought back our teachers. But Miss Graves, Miss Alaudi, Tom Alessi, Miss Tabone, who is now called
Miss
Zimmerman. Did you ever have Desegere?
Oh, dude, Dicezar? Yo,
Dicezar.
Yo, I had him for my freshman year English class. And I remember me and Brianna, we literally wrote up a whole petition, and we actually had most of our freshman class sign for him to also become our sophomore year English teacher. But by that time...
He already left.
Well, yeah.
Or he was leaving.
Yeah, he was leaving to go get his master's at UB or something like that and something else, so...
But you see, like, how it's clicking back, like, all these teachers, and they all had their...
specialties with them.
And different... It wasn't an iron, like, oh, they all taught the same way. They had their own different methods. And yes, I preferred some more than others, but at the end of the day, it all came down to they cared. I really miss high school.
I could hear Dodge right now. Mr. Dabney.
Which I still... By the way, the substitute that replaced him, no comment.
Scalzo?
Yeah.
I remember dang near every single teacher we had.
I never had him as like a teacher because like, so I took the Global 10 exam my freshman year because like Tombo basically like she took she chose like 4 of us actually.
That's when they
Demarius
were giving,
Yeah, but Demarius backed out because he didn't want to do it. He was like, no, I just rather do it the long way, idiot. But
yeah, I took it sooner. I barely passed, but hey, I passed.
Well, like, honestly, dude, I kind of feel like I got super lucky because, like, I don't know, Tombo, like, she tried to help me, Terrell, and Ayana, you know, like, learn as much as the Global 10 shit that we possibly could.
Yeah.
Which, ironically enough, I felt like it was a lot more Global 9 shit on the Regents exam. And thank God for Tom Balesi playing Hotel Rwanda that whole year nonstop because like I think one of the DBQ questions was actually like talking about like genocide and shit like that.
Oh wow, you did luck out.
Yeah, so it was like oh boy. And then you know how the regents, they're like, "Oh, well, bring in some outside sources."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, dude, I got you by the
yeah, that is
balls.
right.
World War II.
That was every regents. Like whenever it was along like the paragraphs or whatever,
Yeah.
use 1, 2, 3 outside
Yeah.
sources. I remember. Oh my God, it's clicking back.
Honestly, like,
By the way, she's a teacher who has she does have too much love to where the person she is, if she's not in the right classroom, the classroom will take advantage of her.
oh, definitely. But Miss Tombo though, man, don't never put it beside her though, man. She definitely got some Italian heat to her though.
Oh, I know.
She'll bring the sauce.
I know. But just like a mother, if she has true love for you, she'll bring the sauce, but then it'll quickly.
Oh, trust me, dude.
Yeah, blow
She'll be quick, to throw in some sugar in there. So.
Yeah.
Sweeten it up a little bit for you. But like, I don't know. I mean, like, just though looking back though, I guess at all the relationships though that MST kind of gave me and stuff like that.
By the way, shout out Mr. Farrell. We can't leave him out.
Oh God, no, Papa Farrell. If you are seeing this, you will always be Papa Farrell. It wasn't until I really got to ECC where I actually took a math course that I felt would actually show me a lot more longevity to math. And
What course was it?
Algebra in the real world.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Like, and because, like, I mean, honestly, Mike, like, I mean, like you said, because you're not, like, a really big math person, but you take that math class, you definitely will. Because, like, it really kind of shows you how to just set up simple formulas for everyday things.
And that's the problem with the schooling in America right now.
I know, I kind of feel like if we got rid of Algebra 2 and trigonometry and sort of pre-calculus and actually sort of made kids actually take a real-world algebra class.
Well, you could say the same thing about if all high schools actually taught you how to do checking.
Oh, yeah. Well,
How to...
Surprisingly, MST did actually teach me how to balance a checkbook. I think that was like during the time though DeQuinn was out.
Right.
No, we did too, but
Right.
I felt like I didn't feel the importance of it. I'm the type of person, unless you're truly gifted, right?
Yeah.
In the science fields, in the literature fields, in all these whatever field you want to talk about.
Yeah.
Why are you forcing every person to go to AP English or like a top tier English that most people who are in CEO positions probably don't even understand the basics?
Yeah.
Like my entire high school career, right? We're taught this is how you set up paragraphs. Use the biggest and most complex words. And then my second English class in college, I had a dope professor, and he says he made every student write an essay, and he just fucking tore us up. And you know why? It's because we were being too complicated. Because we were being too complex. And he's like, unless you're speaking to philosophers and you're trying to impress somebody and act smarter than you are, why are you making a sentence 20 words long when you can explain it in 5?
Yeah. Exactly.
And I think that's the problem. Like, every person should know how to cook. Every person should know how to cook. But every person know how to do Algebra 2? Can every person actually know how to do Algebra 2?
That's the question that should be asked, right? When you think about it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. One thing I personally never kind of, I guess, overall like, though, about how our schooling system really is set up, here in Buffalo is, like it just seems like it's kind of not biased, but, like, it's just it's so damn complex because it's like if you do have a kid who is like, let's say, really good at math and they are like wanting to follow the STEM fields.
Oh, do you know how they're doing math now?
Oh yeah, the whole
It's even more complicated than when we learned it, which
Oh,
was
yeah.
even more complicated than when my mom learned it.
yeah, it's just a nightmare. It's truly just a nightmare.
Which, by the way, if you're truly good at math, the whole show your work thing is like they do it in their head. And then even if they show their work, they're doing it in a way that is the quickest and most simple. Yet you guys want them to do it in this whatever the new trend is for that year, for those 5 years. And
Yeah.
and they're going to get points taken off anyways because they're doing it how it naturally comes, which is hey, that's if your brain works a certain way and it gets to a certain thing, and a lot of mathematicians, if you look how mathematicians do at least the simple maths and the algebras and stuff,
yeah.
it's not the way they show their work, it's not anywhere near as long or complicated as the new formats are.
No, it really isn't. And like, but I guess like going back though to what I was saying, like I always just felt though like a lot of high schools and then, cause like, I don't know, I mean, kind of looking, I guess, into where I ended up going career wise after high school, I just kind of felt that a lot more kids should be able to actually at least dabble around at least in everything. Almost like as if it's almost as if you're an artist and you're about to like, you know, paint a mural. Do you
Ooh,
only
okay, that's a good example.
like I mean, do you only use one color or are you going to use multiple colors to try to convey your image?
Oh, that's a, or you could just say an artist.
Yeah.
Well, that's stupid. I'm talking about musician. Like, if you're a true musician, a true artist, are you just going to dabble with the same beats in the same kind of genre?
Yeah.
No, you're going to explore. You're going to evolve. If you're truly great, each album should sound different.
Yeah, definitely. And like, you know, and I was just like kind of felt and like even more today because so like, I mean, not like really like a lot of people know, but like Buffalo is one of the best places to like film in for a nice, decent city size, stuff like that. And like you don't really need permits to actually film in public spaces as if like you were in New York City, you know what I mean? Like you got to go
You don't here?
No, not here. Like I mean, it's recommended that you have permits. Like, you know, if you're recording on NFTA, stuff like that, you got to get permission from them. Like you still got to follow like some type of ethical guidelines, but it's not as much red tape as if like, you know, like let's say you're trying to like just shoot somebody walking down the street in Times Square. And
Gotcha.
like, you know, where you got to really go through the New York City government, like, yeah, the whole city government.
You have to
know.
go through all these loopholes.
Yeah, you know,
Okay.
and then like to actually like get paperwork and, you know, and everything else like that all set up. So therefore you can actually like say, okay, well, we are going to be recording in this spot, in this area.
And Buffalo's low-key beautiful, has a lot of beautiful mansions, a lot
Yeah.
of old architecture,
Yeah.
nice scenery.
You know, and like, and you know, I just like kind of always felt though, like, I kind of feel like a lot of kids, you know, like are sort of like wasting their time with stuff that they don't want to do. And just even me, I guess, kind of speaking biasly here because like I found out the hard way that engineering was not going to work out best for me.
What
And
made you learn that?
just like, you know, overall, just like the classes that I was taking, you know, and then like just actually like trying to get my head into what I was doing, I was like, this isn't really what I want to do. I just kind of like felt like that there was something more that I could be doing. And, you know, and like while doing that, like, and then sort of like thinking back on that, it was like, well, when I was in high school, it was like, oh man, I want to be an engineer. I want to be an engineer. I want to get into engineering. And then, sort of now it's like, I love being a communication major. I love actually, working more in film and working more in broadcasting and stuff like that. So Farrell and Miss Schul both like said to me, we're like, honestly, you should have went into the communications field from the get go, because that like, that would have fitted, that would have fit you so much more perfectly for who you are, and like I said, I mean, I had to learn it the hard way.
Yeah.
And and like, I mean, college isn't for everybody. Everybody doesn't have to go to college, in order to, like, prove that you actually have some type of education.
I just want to say this, and I'm going to continue to say this.
Yeah.
Unless you're trying to become a lawyer, a doctor, or some type of scientist, college, in my opinion, for a career is pointless. In my opinion. That's my opinion.
No, you're not wrong about it at all, because like one of my best friends who actually lives down in New York City, that I actually met down in Utica, she graduated with like over maybe roughly about $25,000 in student loan debt for a civil engineering degree. Worked her ass off to get that degree.
Yeah. Which, by the way, how many classes were actually towards that degree of those 4 or 5 years? How did she get bachelor's or master's?
She did her bachelor's.
Okay, so 4 years.
Yeah.
I put money at least 1 full year, so 2 semesters, classes that had nothing whatsoever to do with her field.
Oh, no, definitely. Like our freshman year, even when I was like a civil engineering tech major,
Yeah.
which is basically like sort of the dumbed down version of civil engineering in a way.
Okay.
Because like, so civil
I understand.
Yeah, like civil engineering is like the more trig based calculus.
Well, people say
like,
finance is the dumbed down version of accounting.
Yeah. So like, yeah, so you get it.
Yeah.
But like, and she like started working for like this company now, and there's like also like this guy who works with her, makes the same amount of money as she does.
And he did
not go to college one day in his life. You see, like, the thing is, you just got to know how to sell yourself, and you got to know what you're worth.
Well, it's not. I agree. That's 100% true. But it's also the fact, college, when it was first created, depending which college, at least in America, in the mid to late 1800s, it was to actually further your education. You would go not for a job, but you would go to expand your knowledge.
Yeah.
And now college is anything but that. At least for the average individual. It is, let me get a degree. Hopefully I get the best name from a college. So Yale is obviously over UB, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
But if you're not unless you're going in a field where you have to get knowledge that is specific to this field, and you could only specifically learn it from a college, it's like, why are you, especially if you don't get a full ride, especially if you're paying the majority of the tuition,
Yeah.
why are you going to be a psychiatrist? Like, that's one of the biggest fields now.
Yeah.
The competition, right off the bat, you have more competition because so many people are going there. And it's like, yes, in order to make the big bucks, you need a master's degree. You need to go through this process. But when you think about what you're really learning, it's like, did you have to go to college? Like, let's say you didn't need a degree to get jobs. You got jobs by your actual knowledge, right? Let's take away this system of degrees. Give me the 3 main fields where you would actually need to go to college. That's why I say the 3 jobs that I'm talking about, you need to go to college. Because unless you're willing to go through thousands of pages of law books and thousands of pages of science books to become a doctor and stuff, your best bet time-wise, resource wise and just like the experience is to actually go to college for those fields.
Yeah. No, definitely. And like, and I feel like community colleges get a really huge
Bad rep.
a really huge bad rep, especially ECC because ECC is not really as like a lot of people explained it out to be like
It's not.
Like-
and it's much cheaper.
a lot cheaper. And I also kind of feel like at ECC you get a way more kind of quality college education. I mean,
It's more realistic.
yeah. And like and I don't know, I mean like you don't necessarily get the full college experience. I mean, yeah, you're not going to be living on a dorm, and like partying every Friday night,
But is that really what college is for though?
No, it isn't.
So you're telling me I'm paying all this money? So how many people really go to college and they say the best part of college is the parties? So you're paying buttloads of cash for the parties.
Honestly, I kind of look at it as my first year of college. I essentially went to SUNY Poly to network, and I took out student loans to network with people.
Yeah.
And that is basically how I look at SUNY Poly. Like, I don't regret my decision of going there because, I don't know, I mean, I look at everything always has to be a learning curve. Like, you fall down, you get back up, you keep moving. It was really more of a place where I was just like, all right, guys, what are we doing tonight? What, like, what's going on? And rather than actually like enjoying what I was really supposed to be there for, to get an education. When I look back on it, I'm like, I put myself $7,000 in debt for like a year and a half of education.
You were fortunate.
Well, I only did. Trust me, it's like a lot more now, especially with the incurring
Interest?
and then also the ECC loan, some of the ECC loans on top of there now too. So,
And by the way, guys, yeah, the interest might only be 4 or 5%, but when you're 20, 30 grand in debt, that 4 or 5% adds up really quickly. Yeah.
ECC, MST, two really great places. Stay the hell away from Central New York. You're not missing out on anything in Central New York. I could promise you that right now. But
I will say this though. No, I'm being good this episode.
I will say one thing though. Most of the teachers that we had named that were great teachers had got some of their education from ECC. So don't let community college or anything like that discourage you. I mean, me personally, when I was going to ECC, it was a good time. It was just that there was a lot of things going on in my life, and I couldn't focus the way that I would have wanted to. Yes, but aside from that, it is a good place to get your education.
yeah.
At the end of the day, when you think about it, a degree is just a certificate with
I knew you were gonna say that. I was about to say there might be some areas that you're knowledgeable about that Chance would wish also, but the way that I was looking at it a little bit. Don't take away the fact that you invested your hard work into achieving something. That fuck the certificate thing. Achieving something, and even if it's not what you aim for it to be, because of this experience, you have a better idea of what you want to go about in life, or what you would want to do, or how you feel about certain things because you went past the what if factor, And at the end of the day, our rights is nothing but a sheet of paper.
True.
Like,
to go off your point, I want to make this clear. I don't regret going to Canisius in the sense of the events because Canisius...
The debt. I can understand that.
Yeah, as we've had off-topic conversations, I only regret Canisius because of the debt and how everything around the debt transpired. It showed me how shady the world really is, how the world truly is a business. And if somebody tries to tell you anything else, they're full of shit in our society, right? But I'm glad because Canisius completely fast-tracked my mentality, my mindset, and who I need to be. And as we always talk about this, Canisius, like right now, I wouldn't be who I am until I'm 30 if it wasn't for Canisius, you know? And I'm only saying I wish I went to ECC. I wish I went into communications because I have the experience of that. And I can say I got my degree. And like if I ever have kids, it's like my kids can never come to me with that bullshit like, Dad, you gave up. And it's like, I didn't. But I'm going to give you the advice that a lot of people didn't give me. It's not a one-way street. It's not even a two-way street. It's a open field. Go what speaks to you. Mm-hmm. And that's the important thing. It's like, hey, if you want to go to college or if you ever have second guesses, you could look at me for inspiration and you could look at my degree and say, hey, at least he's not a quitter. That's why I'm proud of my degree. So I want you to know I do take that into perspective. I'm just saying, going off of what Chance is saying, I understand that and the whole you must go to college, especially for all these fields and these jobs and these careers they're making up for college now. It's like, are you serious? Are you serious? Before you didn't even need a high school degree to go into some of these fields. And even now with these college degrees, when you go to a certain company, they still teach you half or most of the stuff.
Yeah. Like, the job I literally did for 6 months at DanceBug was basically like, hey, you don't really have any videographer experience? Hey, we'll teach it to you.
And like you said, if you sell yourself, if you have the right attitude, people are going to be willing to teach you because then they're going to teach you the way they want it done. Yep. You know, there's no bad habits or anything like that.
Not at all.
I know you were a big fan of Linkin Park. Their most recent album was bad, my personal opinion. But how do you feel about Chester Bennington? How did that touch you?
Honestly, when I kind of got that news, it was almost like losing a close personal friend. Like, and almost in a way, because I don't know, man. Like, that's just like my whole like adolescence years from like start to finish, all with that one band. And I don't know. And then like it also like, you know, then like it also really symbolizes like me and Elijah's like, you know, like our friendship and stuff like that, and like who we are as like friends, and you know, and then like just hearing that news, it just like it really broke me down. It was like just,
and the fact that he actually did commit suicide, made it that much.
Yeah, it was like it was just like, you know, you never really suspect those like type of people to actually have
problems, issues.
Well, like, you know, that type of darkness within their souls when almost
That's
everything
beautiful.
that they touch turns into light. You know, like,
and they're so talented, and they seem to bring happiness to so many people. Yet, I forgot who said it, and I don't even know if it's a quote. It's the more you think about it, it's even more depressing when you think that somebody can bring so much happiness to so many individuals. And did you ever meet him?
No, I never got to meet him.
But you felt like you knew him through his music, through his art, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And the fact that he could bring happiness to literally millions of individuals and one way or another brighten up their day whenever they would listen to his music, yet he couldn't bring that same happiness to himself.
Yeah.
And that's the shit that hurts. And I came up on Linkin Park much later when they were almost out of fashion. I didn't find out about them until Transformers in 2007, and that's when I became a fan. So even though it wasn't as long, I say this, I never met Paul Walker, I never met Chester Bennington, I never met Mac Miller. Yet all three of those people, because of how they put themselves in their art, made me feel like I knew them. And those are 3 of 5 people, famous individuals that I wanted to meet because I felt like if I met them, they weren't going to disappoint me because of how pure they were through their art, be it whatever medium.
Long live Mac Miller.
Long live Mac Miller. I just wanted to bring Chester back because it could touch on the depression and the suicide, and I know you were a big fan, at least of their earlier music.
Yeah, Reanimation album is probably still by far my favorite album. But like, I don't know if you listen to any of like Mike's stuff. Mike Shinoda, who's like
He released the album in 2018.
yeah,
right?
like after it all happened, it was like a 3-track album. And I listened to it, and honestly, like, I can't even play it anymore because
It makes you cry.
yeah, because like you could just hear
The
hurt
pain,
and
yeah.
his voice, and like the lyrics, and you're just like, dude, like you lost such a great friend, like. to
Well,
something
he
so
was
terrible.
he was with the band from the get go, right? Those two were together all along, if I'm correct, right?
Not Chester. No, Chester ended up joining them later on because they.
But I mean, studio album.
Oh
wise.
yeah, studio album wise.
Yes,
Yeah. They were all together, but like I think Mike and
I know Chester came along after when they heard his voice. They were like, "You have to."
yeah, like you gotta come and join on with us.
How do you feel about life right now? Where's your mindset?
It's a really interesting question because I guess how I'm feeling about life right now is I don't know. I mean, I'm sort of like up in the air, only because like, well, I finally found a job that sort of makes me feel that I have like the same usefulness as sort of like when I was in high school,
Where
and-
you felt like you were actually living, you had a purpose, and
yeah, and stuff like that. And, and like now, like since it's like kind of on the wind down of the season and stuff like that, and it's sort of like not over, but it is sort of like over just for this season right now. And it's just like, I'm just like still like trying to get my head around it. Still also trying to, I guess, figure out really what I want to do as like a long-term goal and do something with film, TV, broadcasting, kind of stay within that field. And then I don't know, I like also another thing that I want to do too is actually like teach kids how to do like post-production work. And like that's like I don't know, I mean, I just like kind of want to take, I guess, what I learned and
give it back.
shift it back,
I love that.
Just going back to the whole school thing, I mean, you at least allow kids to see something and do something,
Yeah.
and like you show them how to do it. Then they'll be a little bit more eager. I mean, yeah, not every kid is going to be able to afford the whole Adobe suite like I can, but that's because I'm a college student. But it's like also at the end of the day, it's just that I don't know. I guess in a way I'm sort of like still trying to look for my purpose
You're not the only one.
right now in like life, but I also in a way I guess I also sort of like seem like I kind of found it, like with my most recent job that I've worked. So life, but life is just life. Honestly, it's just it's like going on your favorite roller coaster with a blindfold, no safety restraints, and you're just praying that there's no loops in the track. And,
You don't fall to your death.
Yeah. And
That's a great metaphor.
and like, and I mean, every now and again, you're just always gonna have those really close calls with the loops, But
Well, as Mike is famous for saying, how are you going to recognize the highs if you don't have the lows?
yeah, that's true. Like, I don't know, I met like so many kids just like this year, and And like, I don't know, and it also like gave me a really different output on life too, because like most of them were like just super, super hard on themselves.
But that's the way society is.
Oh, yeah.
And it's in all fields. To go back to Stefano real quick, there's a major article going around by ESPN that nowadays, like for me and Michael, we're big basketball fans, right? And if you're a pure fan of any sport, if you really think about it, why are so many people getting injured more often now than just 10 years ago, let alone 25, 30 years ago, when supposedly all the methods of staying healthier and all the procedures of getting of being in shape is so far advanced? It's because we're training more now than ever, and everything has become so specialized. That's not natural. That's not natural for the body. That's not natural for the brain. There's a reason why there's seasons in sports. There's a reason why you take a break. Just not just for your body, but mentally.
Yeah.
And that's why the whole American society, as it keeps going in whatever pattern it decides to take, it's still an unnatural pattern where it is more. And in some aspects that might be good, but in other aspects it's not. And that's I don't even know where I was going right now, but we somehow sidetracked. I think I sidetracked, but I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean,
because you said too much. They're putting too much pressure.
yeah. You know, and like, I don't know. Like, honestly, what I always like do is like, well, I just always like try to break the tension with them. I'm like, I show them like my horrible ass track photos. When I had the green hair and stuff, man.
Holy shit! But you have the passion, and I feel like any individual, especially kids, because kids, the younger you are, the more pure you are as a soul. Mm-hmm. They can read that. They can sense that.
Oh, yeah.
And that's, as long as you keep the passion, bro, and you're willing to teach, I feel like that's going to be your strongest asset, is that you do have a passion, and kids will vibe off of that.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like, because, like, I don't know, I remember, what was that? I was doing, like, a competition out in Jersey, and there was, like, this girl, I guess, like, yeah, her and her family, like, they moved here from, like, the UK and stuff.
Yeah.
And, and she was, like, looking at her photos, and she's like, oh, man, I really, like, screwed up on my, on my turns. My feet aren't pointed in this photo and stuff. And her mom was actually more reassuring, just for her, really overall. And it was just like, okay, well, yeah, sweetie, you gave it your best. You worked as hard as you can, and like Michael says, if you never had the highs, if you never had the lows, how are you even gonna know what a high is? And it's just sort of like,
or vice versa.
Yeah, and and it's like if you never failed, how do you know if you succeeded?
Or what is victory when you don't know the pain
of losing,
of failure? Yeah.
Yeah, but I told her though, it was like, well, did you have fun? While you were out there on stage? She's like, yeah, she's like, I always love, doing my routines. And I was like, then that's all that matters. Doesn't matter if you win, lose, tie, do not finish, no matter what. As long as you have fun doing what you love, that's all that should matters. And
I agree, but I do want to point out that you also have to thrive to become better in the process.
Well, yeah.
But I understand what you're saying. Just so some smart ass doesn't say, last place is first place stuff. No.
But I mean, like, just the whole idea of, though, you go out there, you enjoy it,
and you give your best.
You give it your all, and you know that you gave it your all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And nobody can never take that away from you.
As long as you're being honest with yourself and you're giving your full 100%, whatever your 100% is, like, that's all you can ask from yourself.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I mean, And then it's just like also like, you know, just really interesting because, you know, I just always meet people like, you know, who just make me, you know,
Feel
like
good.
feel good. And then like, but not even just that though, but like, you know, like it also makes a really huge impact on my life, you know, and like kind of how I sort of like really take an outlook.
Yeah, it redefines your perspective. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and like, and I mean, man, honestly, I've had so many different like perspective adjustments, whether it be medicinally, but just like, no, though, I mean, it's just that life for me right now is just sort of
Still learning you.
still learning me, but like I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like being single for like the past 3 years, I've actually got to know myself more, a lot better. So it's like I don't know. It's like sometimes I can do stupid shit and I can laugh at myself about it because I now at least have a more better general idea of who I am. You know, and
You're growing, dude.
yeah, you know, and like and like it and it just sort of gives you, I guess, a more deeper outlook on life. Well, at least for me, it does because it's
No,
like
you're loneliness is it's a blessing and a curse.
oh no, it really is. It's probably one of the worst double-edged swords that you can play with in your life.
It's walking a dangerous line. You need to. It's a balancing act.
Yeah,
But I do, like you said. I think Michael agrees and I agree. I found myself quicker than ever, and I learned more about myself in my periods of loneliness than.
yeah,
I learn more about myself around people because I have more experience with pulling myself away from things. I mean, I've always had my ears open and my eyes peeled, so I pretty much taken in a lot of the things that I didn't go through, but the things that I have gone through, it just impacted me in a certain way, I guess.
I was more so like speaking. When I was speaking of loneliness, it was more so like not being in a relationship, not necessarily being literally alone. I feel like
That's that's kind of how I was looking at it though, because like in general, you know, pulling yourself back from things, you pull yourself back from bonds and relationships and shit. But
Okay.
but I see what you mean though. So yeah, that wouldn't really fit too well with that.
I think both things can be correct in this situation. I think what I'm saying is true, but also what you're saying in the sense you grow more when you're around people, right? Like when you're, and I feel like when when podcasting, I'm seeing who I am, but I got to this point because I haven't been in a relationship with with a special somebody else. So
I I don't know, man. It's hard for me to make the distinction because I see damn near any experience that you take on as being you, you a step to improving or
comes down to perspective. If you're willing to take that point of view, you can. But how many people? I know quite a few people that they could say the complete opposite. They take every step as a reason to look down on themselves.
I know people, yeah, like just like them. I have my days where I'm like that, but like, I speak because I'm more certain of how I'm thinking, and that wasn't said before.
Okay,
But
that adds more light to the conversation.
yeah, now can we backtrack a little bit because I kind of did lose it. I'm not
Honestly,
gonna hold
I
you.
was just going with the flow, bro.
Alrighty.
I know the overall topic we're on, but any branches below it. I know what tree we're on, but how we got to the top of the tree, I was high during that moment.
Okay, what's the tree? What's the tree?
The tree is loneliness. Yeah, now you see where the confusion comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm recalling my little fall through.
What was
Wow.
is there anything you want to say about what Chance has been saying? Because you've been somewhat low key and just want to.
Well, I've been sitting back and just taking in what you have to say. I mean, like off rip, somebody hearing things, they're gonna react and think a certain way. But for the most part, I was just sitting back and collecting what you was giving us.
Yeah.
It's nothing that I really drew a conclusion to because you pretty much thoroughly explained what you were thinking. No, that's pretty much.
If possible, because this is the first time I've seen you since high school, correct?
Yeah.
Is this the first time you've seen Michael since high school?
No, actually, me
about
and
the second time.
yeah. I
Okay.
was about to say because me and Mike, we ran into each other outside at UCMC that one day.
Mm-hmm.
I guess one thing though that sort of really helped me out, I guess, was literally junior year of high school. When I had to read Into the Wild. For some odd reason, just that story and that outlook of life and what transcendentalism means and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Because of that, I got into a little bit of Henry David Thoreau. But go ahead.
Yeah. But just I guess some of the principles of what transcendentalism stands for. You look at every job as not really another job, but as something that you're doing and you always put in your best no matter what. And, I guess more for a religious sense, God is in everything and everywhere around you. And, and then another thing was that that education doesn't stop
After school.
and it doesn't start with school either. And
Did you steal that from anybody?
what?
That quote? Because that was a beautiful quote.
Honestly,
Statement.
I don't even think I don't even think that it was quoted by anybody, but if it was, I apologize.
No, it's a statement, and now it's
Yeah.
your quote.
Just some of those principles though, after junior year of high school, always impacted me. And it was just just always try to do the best that I can, always try to work hard. But really for life, it was just, really one quote from that book is, happiness is only real when shared.
That's.
And
I think that's lost in society, and more so the younger generations.
yeah.
Because I heard from Joe Rogan that the mindset, the human mind is programmed in a tribe aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So it's natural for us to want to belong. And when you're happy, it's natural to want to share the happiness and vice versa. And I just feel it's not appreciated as much as it once was, at least in American Western society. And I feel that is. Well, what was the quote again?
Happiness is only real when shared.
Ladies, remember that. And gentlemen, I don't know why I emphasize. Audience members, remember that. See, that was my subconscious. That it naturally eked out. I apologize.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Well, you understand, and Chance probably understands too.
No,
I did not mean to. Yeah,
but it's just though you know, like if you do have happiness, because everybody really wants to be happy in life. Everybody wants to know that they have a purpose, that they, you know,
That's the point of living.
that they actually hold some value.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, and I don't know. I just sort of like feel like, you know, sometimes in life that you do come across people who will see your worth for what you really are worth. And then some people who do actually come across and try to take advantage of your worth, you know, and stuff like that. And just really overall with life, it's just, like I said, it's really a never ending roller coaster where you're just blindfolded, no restraints, and you're literally just praying that a loop is not coming anytime soon.
So, do you believe in destiny or free will, or you think it's a combination of the two?
I kind of feel that it's a little bit more on the combination of the two.
I agree.
Because I remember in one college class that I took, yeah, we actually like had that discussion of whether or not do you think life is destined or if it's really more or less based on free will. And, you know,
The whole of you having a choice or not.
yeah. But like I sort of feel like you know, there are certain aspects that do take us down a certain path, you know, and that do sort of make our choices for us in a way.
I see what you're going for.
But then also again too, I also do feel though that we do also have the power to say no and say that I don't want to do that, or yes, I do actually want to do that, or yes, can you actually teach me how to do that? You know, instead of rather of sort of, I guess, just,
Everything being laid out for you.
yeah, you know, and like sort of just like trying to jump into like something blindly, you know, and just say, well, I'm just going to go out here and give it my goddamn best shot. And hey, if I don't hit, I just come back with nothing. You know, like
Yeah.
it's, you can choose technically, I guess, what you really want to hunt for. I guess, like, you know, like you sort of have a preference.
Okay, I'm feeling this.
Whereas, you know, like you would sort of feel destined to teach. Well, since like your grandfather taught your father taught you, and now you're teaching your kid
Okay.
how to only hunt deer.
I thought you were going to go the route of you're taught to hunt deer and you're only looking for deer. But at the end of the day, if life only gives you bunnies,
Yeah.
you have to make that choice. Am I going to die hunting for deer,
Yeah.
or am I going to survive?
Yeah,
Eating-
like that's exactly what I was like trying to say.
Oh, okay, cool.
Like the whole destiny aspect of it really is of like you sort of have that pre-laid out path for you.
Got you.
Because from day one,
You were born in a certain situation.
yep, and it taught you from like to the end of your days just to basically stay in that until you decide to actually then sort of make that change.
Almost like a nurture versus nature type of balance.
Yeah.
Okay. I respect that. Your soul is obviously still the same, but your body is definitely upgrading. If you understand what I'm going for. You still have the same personality, but you're maturing and growing as a person. So
I mean, like
that's a lost art in this generation. That compromise, audience members, when you think about it, compromise is necessary in any relationship, because compromise is what both individuals are willing to put up with and go through in order to make a relationship work.
But I also feel like even in life though, even with your own life, you sort of do also have to make compromises with yourself. You know what I mean? Because like I mean, like the more that you actually take out the time and you get to know who you are as an individual. Like, there's just certain things that, like, that, you know, like, you have to sort of just say, well, it doesn't affect me,
Move on.
and just move on from it. You know what I mean? And
Well, you could make the case too with compromise with yourself. Nobody has enough time. Time is the most crucial resource, and you have to compromise what you're willing to do any given day.
I say time is the only currency that you can have in your lifetime that can ever be spent and never be made back.
So that's why that's why going back to the whole jobs and college thing is so crucial. If you're not meant to go to college, if like anything in life, if you're not meant to do something, or you could spend your time better doing something else, do it. Don't do something for the norm. Don't do something for society, because
You gotta figure out what's gonna work out best for you. And I mean, and like, I don't know. And then there was like also another thing too that, well, like sort of another quote that I read on Facebook, like maybe like a couple years ago, but it always stuck with me, that just because somebody is doing something at one point in their life at their time doesn't mean that you have to be at that exact same point in your time as well. So basically what that's meaning is, so like I spent like 2 summers like being absolutely like completely sick, and doctors couldn't figure it out. And I mean, like, and I felt really bummed out. I'm like, yo, my friends are like still in college and I'm like falling behind,
Yeah.
you know, what they're doing, you know. But like, honestly, once I read that though, it made a lot of sense, because it's like, okay, well, yeah, they're working in school right now at their time. And I know that I can't really be in school right now in my time. So when my time comes, I'll know, and then I can actually get up to that point. Like
I feel like that's a good quote for perspective. You can only work with what you're given too.
Which is being realistic with yourself above all.
yeah, definitely.
Not being too hard on yourself.
I feel like more or less, like, as we in a society and life, we get so caught up in, well, what the next person has, and okay, well now I need to like bust my ass in order to get Susie Joe's Samsung 10.
Yeah, you one up the other person,
Yeah, you know,
and
like,
you're going to consistently be in a never ending cycle if you have that mindset.
yeah, definitely, and you know, and like. And I feel like that mindset hinders so many people back from sort of like kind of achieving their true potential, because you get so caught up about worrying about where somebody else is and their point of life that you're not even really bothering to even kind of take a step back and look at what's going around you and your own life. Because like I said, like, some things may happen for other people in their time of life, but it may not happen for you. It just may not happen, and it just may not be that is the time for it to happen.
It may never happen, or yeah, like you said.
You know, life is an interesting thing, but you don't give up. You don't regret the decisions that you made, and I mean, okay, yeah, there are some decisions that you do have to regret.
Well, it's learning from all your
Mistakes.
Yeah, because
But like,
you could regret some decisions.
well, yeah, but like I don't know, like, one thing my dad kind of, I guess, always made as an emphasis in his life is, no matter if you royally fuck up, can you go back and change it?
No.
Is there like any logical way for you to be able to go back and change it? No. So therefore, what you do is you figure out either what went right or what went wrong, and you learn from that and you move on and you take that knowledge with you to the next step in life. And then because so then, like, if that situation ever arises again, you then know how to deal with it. You then sort of get ahead of the curve in a sense. And you sort of are able to to say that, hey, I fucked up, I made a wrong choice, but I've learned from it. Or I did something super fucking amazing, and I learned how to keep doing that super fucking amazing thing. And that's just kind of like where I'm at in life. And then also is the whole like self-expression. I just feel like it's so lost out, like, in life.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, like,
express yourself.
well, seriously, like, even when you asked me earlier, if I ever felt that I fit in like MST and stuff like that, it was like, for me, I didn't really care if I fitted in or not with most of the people that went there.
I really meant to say, did you feel welcomed? Did you have a family? That's what I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is, though, like, I feel like you're a lot more of a genuine person. You live a lot more of a genuine lifestyle
When you're not faking it?
when you're not faking it. When you can go do some goofy shit, and you know that your friends aren't going to turn their heads and look the other way.
Or they're going to join you.
Yep. Like, like, authenticity is probably one of the best quality traits that anybody can have. And it doesn't even cost you anything in life to even get it or have it.
That's why it's so valuable. You're in a world where you could be anything but yourself. Or at least that's what people choose to look at it as.
But then I guess my argument to that is, if you feel that way, you should just go play an RPG game at that point. But
I would agree with. Well, obviously, I feel like we all agree with that, but I would.
But that's just me being an asshole.
No, but to go off of your point, I also say, if you're being yourself, you're being authentic, you're being real, you're not wasting energy.
And you attract, like, what I noticed, though, like, you attract people who then are always going to give you their best, and they're always going to be loyal to you. I don't know. I mean, I look at it, I guess, looking at just from my own personal perspective, that, like, what was it? Like, my one of my coworkers, Jesse, like, he met Stefano, and he was like, like, me and Stefano were, like, telling him, like, yeah, dude, like, we've known each other since, like, we were literally kids, like, 2 years old and shit like that. And Jesse was like, wow, not a lot of people have that. Like, just that type of friendship. Like, hell, me and Elijah, like, we're still best friends. And we met in, like, 6th grade. And we're, 23 now?
Yeah.
So, like, I always felt, though, the more true you are with yourself, the more people will actually see that, and they'll accept that from you. And I mean, yeah.
Well, at least people who are like you, they will.
Yeah, definitely. And not to get caught up with useless ass people either. And like, what I mean by that is people who are just never really going to amount to shit and not going to bring you any damn good.
If anything, they're going to be a negative in your life.
Yeah, like, seriously. And
don't feel bad. We sugarcoat it now. There is more and more useless people on this fucking planet than you can imagine. And this whole everybody special.
Yeah.
There's levels to that statement.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like, you give somebody a ribbon, for being a part of the team. That's one thing. But in order to kind of say to somebody, well, here you go, just because you participated, doesn't really teach you anything because,
No, it doesn't.
like, I mean, you then don't really know what it feels like to lose, and then you definitely
Going back
don't
to
know.
our
You don't know what it feels like to win. Having useful people is not like, and like also what I mean by usefulness is like, like you call them up and you're like, you ask for like $5 and they're like, hey, boom, I got it for you. Like, I don't mean usefulness in like that sense.
You mean like driven?
Yeah, like, actually have some intention, some passion,
reliable,
yeah,
honest.
and just to have the personality traits of, I don't want to say a good person because that could
Doesn't necessarily be true.
yeah, that could be a very broad description
And
of
it's
a person.
perspective too.
Yep, and it's very perspective based. But when you have people who want to see you do good, and
They're actually attributing to society, to whatever you're discussing.
yeah, and like, I mean, I feel like those are the people that, they ask you for, like, they ask you to jump. You say how fucking high, because those people are also like, right, what is it? When you ask them to jump, they're also going to reply back, how fucking high? You want me to match your height or you want me to go higher?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
But that's coming back down to the pure relationships and
yeah. But life is just,
Can't be put in a box.
no.
Because honestly, this whole time I've been sitting here, it's like, yo, we could find a bad scenario for anything. And honestly, like, at the end of the day, somebody could go their life 10 years being ain't shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then up and decide they want to change things. And they ended up, like being miraculous to wherever they blessed with their presence or whatever,
Yeah. And
Life is pretty much just a story that could
unfold at any point.
Unfold, it could change, it could be whatever.
But I will say this though, that still comes down to
perspective.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna go that deep. I was really gonna say it comes down to the person willing to say, fuck this destiny shit. This is where I'm.
But destiny and fate work hand in hand, from what I believe.
No, I believe destiny and fate is the same thing. It's just synonyms. I was gonna say, fuck this destiny shit. I'm taking my life into my own hands now. That's what I was gonna say.
Instead of like kind of following
like as you used the example before, like how some people they just say, oh, this is what life has given me, fuck it, I'm just gonna go along with it.
Yeah, like, like hunting, you've been like your family's been hunting deer for all these years and now there's no more deers in the neighborhood,
and instead of saying, oh, I guess I'm gonna die off, it's like you finally grew you grew whatever in you and said, okay, I'm taking life into my own hands.
Yeah.
How do you know you're taking life into your own hands?
The way you described the situation, it seemed like this person is either in a shitty situation or they're a bum.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, like, yes, anything could be destiny, but I'm saying either way, like, if you ask that person or ask the audience from the outside looking in, okay, he should finish his life in this shitty situation as a bum. So for him to completely change his mindset, I view that as like he's taking life into his own hands. But as everything is perspective, how do we truly know? I'm just saying.
Yeah, because I started looking at things a little like too far. Because honestly, the way I was thinking, I'm like, it's just like the relationship between time and people. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like.
Oh no, my thoughts about that is, if the clock is still running, the game's still fucking going, and you keep on playing, and until the clock actually stops, then that's when it's just all over. But as long as the clock is still running, and you want to do change, and you want to do something differently, and you want to do that, go do it.
Life is not fair. Some people get the better end of the stick than others.
Yeah.
But you can only control what you can control. And if you're controlling yourself and in every single moment you're giving your all And when you go home at night and say, did I do the best I can? Did I keep the best mindset or whatever? You have to look at that on the bright side and be positive about that. Because, is it fucked up how some people are born into rich families? They never have to worry about their financials. If you take that perspective.
Yeah.
But it's like, you weren't born in that situation. So you have to work your ass off so you could pay these bills and stuff. Yeah. But how are you going to make the best out of it day in and day out?
Definitely.
Okay. By the way, I looked up the whole left versus right. I don't remember who.
We said left was logical, right was emotional.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Okay, so whoever said that, they're right.
Me and Chance said that.
If anybody has anything left to say, this is the time to say it. If not, I have one final question.
All right, I just got one last thing to say.
Okay.
No matter what, live life to the fullest. And never look at the glass as always being half empty. Think of it always as being half full, because just giving yourself that leg up of being openly somewhat optimistic will always give you a better outlook in the long run. So that is my final words on that one of life. And that's just kind of one thing that I've learned. So
thank you. Because I feel like when you said it, you believed it and meant it. Which, just going back to the whole teaching thing, that means everything.
Yeah.
When you can believe what somebody's saying and also feel it, I think that goes a long way.
Definitely.
So you ready for this last question?
What's the last question?
For all my fans of Francis's 3 BPs, how do you feel about butt play, Chance?
Butt play.
Yes, butt play can be your fingers, it could be your penis, or my favorite, it could be your tongue. Answer honestly. If it's a no to all 3, hey, that's fine. That's cool. If it's a yes, that's groovy.
I am just gonna say that some shit happened, and with me and this one girl, and it did get there. So that is a yes for me.
Was it the fingers?
It was all 3.
I wish this was a picture of vodka.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Please be a picture of vodka.
Chance truly is the man. And ladies, if any of you guys hear this and you like what he's spitting, everybody loves a little butt play here and there.
Or Jen. Please be Jen.
All right, so that's all I wanted to ask. I never asked you. I wanted to get your perspective. I think butt play is underrated. And over time, especially if you're with one true lover, it's eventually going to come to that. Be creative. Spice it up. Do something a little different.
The Karma Sutra. The Indians haven't been wrong once.
No, they haven't.
I'm
Mushrooms,
holding out until
weed,
hell freezes over.
and the most important thing of all, that the natives just nailed on the spot with that big hammer. Butt play. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for joining us for the 67th episode of the Rhinos and Aliens Show, the #1 Western New York podcast. We thank you. We appreciate you. We did not mention the 5 rhino thrust earlier. If you guys actually stuck it out and watched, please subscribe. Please hit the notifications so you could actually know when we're posting videos. Comment on this intergalactic ride of conversations. What's the last 2, Michael? Because I seriously had a brain fart. I was thinking about comments, about the topics, and then I went straight to butt play.
Hey, you already know. If you ask me, like on the spot, I'm not even gonna have it. More than likely, subscribe, comment.
I already said those.
As I said before,
Share and whatever the fifth Rhino thrust, he's taking his day off. He went too hard the previous week. So you guys, thank you for being you. LLPH. And as Michael does his famous peace out.
Oh, today is just peace.
If you want to subscribe, just hit this bad boy up here, that big fat rhino. If you want the newest video, to the right. If you want the recommended, to the left. And then, of course, our personal dick pic. Yep, right below. So thank you for joining us once again, and we hope to see you next week. So peace out.
Peace.